A lot of Americans don't like to hear this, but also a lot of immigrants don't like to hear this, but I think it's important to know. So, America, honestly, America is not that great. And how it's advertised all over the world, it's advertised as this wonderful place, everything's amazing, people are amazing, everything's great. America is essentially like heaven, right? It's like this perfect place. And that's not true. Like, that is just an illusion. America is not perfect. It is not that great of a place. I mean, it's better than a war zone. If I had to choose between America and a war zone, yeah, I would choose America because it's way better than a war zone. But in reality, America itself is not that great. It is just an illusion. It's not that great of a place to be. It's not awful either, but from where I came from, it was definitely not an improvement. So I came from Asia. I have an Asian background, so Southeast Asia, and then I also grew up in the Middle East. And we grew up with a culture where, you were supposed to be polite, you were supposed to respect your elders, you were supposed to behave well, like have good manners, you were supposed to speak well, act well. As children, we were supposed to be obedient, kind, that kind of stuff. And we moved to America, and America, it's like the exact opposite of all that. I mean, the kids in America are not innocent. They have really bad behavior. They do not respect their elders. They are extremely disrespectful. They are rude. They're rude on purpose. They think it's funny to be rude. They're vulgar. They curse. And these are just the kids. And then, they grow up, right? And then they become adults who are the same way. And that is essentially the society that America is. Now, I will always say this, not everyone in America is like that, but the vast majority, I would say at least 80% of the American population is like this. They're rude, they don't have this concept of good manners, having respect for other people, especially your elders, and then obedience. I feel like a lot of people don't seem to have this idea of obedience and like following the rules. There's fighting, there's so much fighting, and I mean, obviously, America is violent. There's shootings, stabbings, rapes, sexual assault, and like we've got violence all over the world. But you think the way America is advertised around the world as being this amazing, incredible country, the reality of America is that it isn't. It's not that incredible. People are very flawed. Americans are very flawed people, and they have a lot of very bad habits. And so for me, coming from an Asian background and growing up in the Middle East, where the culture was just so different, coming to America, like the culture was really, really awful. I mean, it still is awful. Like moving to America was not an improvement. It was worse. It made my life worse moving to America. And as I assimilated to America and became American, I became worse too. I became a worse person after moving to America. So, America is not that great. American culture is not that great. And worldwide, people want to assimilate and become American. Please don't. Please don't become American. Don't take on American values and American culture. It is not an improvement in the long run. I mean, even in the short run, it might seem fun, it might seem cool. It is not an improvement. It's not good. It's definitely not good in the long run. It is not the kind of stuff that people and kids should be learning. Between the Asian culture and the American culture, I can say hands down that the Asian culture, in many, many, many ways, is so much better. It might not be better in all aspects, but I would say that in most aspects, Asian culture is a lot better. So even when people move to America, immigrants, people are like, immigrants should assimilate to America, immigrants should assimilate to America, but that's not true. Once you assimilate to America, you actually do become worse. You become a worse person. And I know people don't like to hear that kind of things. People don't like to hear those messages, but it's absolutely true. And if I had a choice, I would not raise my kids American. If I had a choice, I would raise my kids to have more of an Asian culture and an Asian way of behaving because it's just in many ways it is just so much better. But America is not perfect. It is not better in many, many ways. It's not better. It's definitely better than a war zone. But I recommend people that do not assimilate to the American way. It is not an improvement, and especially like in a generational thing, like it is not better in the long run. And this idea that America is wonderful, it's just an illusion. It is an illusion. It's just marketing. This is how America is advertised to the world. It's not better in many ways. Don't believe the marketing. Don't believe the hype. It is just an illusion. A lot of people believe the illusion. They think it's real. It's not. My advice to immigrants coming to America is as much as possible, preserve your original culture and try not to let your kids get too Americanized because it really isn't better. It truly isn't. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.